first of all, just to talk about what we're actually seeing, I know you guys aren't, but we have this intro screen where you see the 4 people from your team.
That's correct. It was big important for us to really showcase our characters for the first time. Show the player your 4-man squad, and we have a lot of sexy stuff people can put on. So
Absolutely.
Let's get up close and personal and let people see it, and also let people inspect. That's something we're going to go on a little bit later, but the best person in the match, you're going to be able to inspect them and see what gear they're wearing, see what weapons they have and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be actually a really good kind of teaching tool for players getting up to speed with PvP who maybe didn't jump in before.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And maybe it's a little secret. I'm going to give a secret. Ready for a secret? You're going to be able to do an emote when you're on that screen. So, you know, you can select a certain emote, put it in a slot, and you can do a little backflip, do the Macarena, you know, whatever you want to show your teammates that you know how to do. You'll be able to do that on that screen.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's a secret, though, just for State of the Game people. Don't tell anyone else.
So we were talking about Skirmish, and as I said, we're watching it on the screen right now. How big is a Skirmish arena?
So they're kind of they're new arenas, right? So they're totally kind of their own contained spaces, but I'd say they're roughly the size of some of our largest landmarks or extraction zones. So think like maybe like Bryant Park or some of the rooftop gameplay up in DZ 8 and 9. Mm-hmm. They're pretty big, but they're all about getting you into combat quickly, right? We want to minimize run times.
Yeah. So. If I had another coin, if I had another phrase to coin, it'd be less running, more gunning, baby.
Oh dear.
That's actually
God.
We're gonna sell T-shirts with that on it. So.
Yeah.
But just
he's right. Bryant Park, you know, that side. We custom built these things, and they're for this 4v4 size, so they're pretty optimized for that.
Let's just make one thing clear. There are no, compared to Last Stand, which is these huge areas you fight in, there are no NPCs, anything like that. This is just pure team deathmatch from start to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we've kind of redone the spawning system. So you come in waves with your teammates. Like if you have a team wipe, you all come in together, kind of close in proximity, and you can charge back into battle. You know, it's probably an average of at most 10-second run times until you're back in a fight.
And that's tops, man. That's tops.
So moving on to how the scoring in Skirmish actually works. We see a counter here at the top of the screen. Currently it says 5 and 3. What do those numbers mean?
So, you know, we obviously have a lot of ways to revive players. So scoring actually takes effect when you send someone all the way to the death screen, right? So you down them, but you have to get up and finish them. That scores a point. So if you are playing tight with your team and you're reviving people and you're getting people back up and popping recovery link at the right moment, you can actually take points from the other team and kind of, you know, even the odds a little bit more.
Yep. You're essentially counting to top kills.
Right. So what's looking at ranks? Last Stand has ranks, UG has ranks, etc. How does ranking, that kind of ranking work in Skirmish?
Well, what we're doing, we're taking the Last Stand rank actually and repurposing it. So we're gonna make that the PvP rank. That might not be what we call it at the end of the day, but you can rank up this PvP rank in Last Stand or Skirmish. We know there's a lot of people already at max rank, so we have plans for rewards. But essentially, in a match of Skirmish, it's gonna function a lot like it does in Last Stand, where you're earning XP for actions that you do, and at the end of the match, that will accrue, and you'll have a total, and that will apply to the rank, and then you'll creep up and have the potential to earn Skirmish caches, and then post rank 40, right? Keith, we're raising the rank.
We're raising the rank. So, you know, we know a lot of people are already sitting at the max rank. There will be a lot of new players jumping in who maybe haven't played Last Stand yet. So we're going to bump the rank up all the way to 99 and give you this thing to keep building towards. But then taking it one step further, you know, at set increments after post rank 40, we'll be giving better rewards, unique rewards like classified caches.
Classified caches, everybody.
That's right.
Yeah. So again, this will give players the opportunity who don't have Last Stand to increase that rank. You can earn the vanity and items that you weren't able to earn, you know, before, and now you can push all the way to 99, and get classified caches. You know, the GE's over. How do I get classy caches? That's awesome. It's important to note also that Skirmish is normalized, right? Before we talk about scoring, we talk about rewards and all that stuff. This is just like Last Stand. It's a normalized play. I wanted to point that out before we got any further.
Right.
I know we'll talk about balance later, but
absolutely.
Yeah. Looking at kind of the end screen, I've actually seen this video before, and we're going to get to it sooner or later while this is running. There's this scoring board as well. What kind of activities do you expect people to do during a skirmish match? What kind of activities are they rewarded for?
Oh, to earn XP, you mean?
Yeah.
The similar gamut. When you down someone, when you finish them, if you assist on the kill, healing, reviving, all those things.
Yeah, it's the ones that we had in Last Stand. But one new way to score extra points is if you were the person who put someone in that down state when they're actually finished and score a point for your team, you get an extra mark that kind of boosts your score even higher.
All right, cool. So how does matchmaking work in Skirmish?
You'll love it. I'm sure you'll love it.
Oh, yeah. No, so it's, we're kind of, once again, we're building on Last Stand. We have a matchmaking rank behind the scenes that keeps track of your overall, win-loss, kill-death, your recent performance, and it's trying to put you with other similarly skilled players. And then we've taken that kind of one step further, like Terry mentioned, in that pre-round screen where you see your whole team. The person on your team with the highest matchmaking ranking, that's the person up front. That's the person kind of front and center that you can inspect and kind of see what's he doing, what is his exact KD, what is his build?
Yep.
His or her build.
Right. And how long are the matches? How have you balanced kind of the length of play of a skirmish match?
Well, I think the PTS will help us really dial that in. As it stands right now, you're going to a kill count of 20 or a timer of 10 minutes.
Yeah, so they're pretty snappy matches. We want these to be kind of a fast, session-based activity that you just kind of jump in and play a few really intense matches.
All right, cool. I think the match is slowly coming to a stop here on the screen, actually. They're going to let it run all the way, but we're going to talk about one more thing when it comes to update 1.8 that we haven't talked about before. It was hinted in certain articles that you would be able to do this. Oh, here's the victory screen now. I'm teasing it a little bit more, keeping people a bit interested. So there you go. There's the end screen.
And it's not final.
Yeah,
No.
We're still iterating, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, what we're going to talk about is actually what's called gear optimization.
Boy,
yeah,
that's exciting. What would you like to know about gear optimization, Petter?
Well, first
This
of
is the
all,
thing I am pretty excited for.
First of all, what is gear optimization?
That's a great question. I guess the best way to sum it up is it's the next evolution of gear improvement. You could already recalibrate, right? And there were some limitations on recalibration that we placed on you, and then we gave you the classified gear, and we said, hey, now you can recalibrate 2 stats. But now we're giving you the next step, right, which is essentially gear optimization, which will allow players to chase the ultimate build.
Yeah, chase the perfect build.
Yeah, chase it, baby. God rolls around the corner.
So what kind
That's what it is.
What kind of items is included in this system?
So you're going to be able to optimize, all your weapons and your 6 gear slots. So your chest piece, mask, things like that. And when you kind of optimize it, you're really going in, and anything that's not min-maxed, you're bumping slightly higher on that stat, right? And you can kind of incrementally push towards the perfect min-max build.
Right. So why are you doing this instead of like the typical way we've done it before when it comes to increasing the power level of the players in the world? We've introduced a new world tier. Why aren't you doing that this time around?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Actually, we've had some great discussions about that with ETF. ETF, what's up? Ultimately, we came to the fact that the conclusion that we just didn't want to reset people's progress on all the gear that they've spent time accumulating, over the life of the summer.
Absolutely.
And so why not take a new approach? Why not I mean, there's more stuff we're going to talk about how this works practically in the game, but essentially with gear optimization, we're revamping a lot of the visualization behind the gear and the numbers and that system. Give you something new to chase, give you new activities to chase that stuff in, stuff like resistance and stuff that will really test your power level. When you push the button and say new world tier, that's cool because sure, everything gets harder and we're going to increase the difficulty in other ways, but I didn't want the reset button. I didn't think Keith didn't want it either.
Yeah, I think, we have a lot of rare gear now, right? And we've set these goals for players, like collect the classified gear as it's coming out, gather your exotics. And a lot of people are still pushing towards that goal, and we have so much more to release, right? There's so many more carrots to put out there. There's a lot more stuff to find, and it's just not the time.
Yep.
Right. So how does it work when I log in the first time? How does it work practically in the game?
Oh, Keith, are you ready?
Yeah, so when you log into 1.8 the first time, you're on your character select screen, you see your gear score. It's not going to say 256 anymore. Yeah, so the gear score is now reflective of the quality of the rolls of on all your items. So if you have a really good armor roll and a really high primary stat and majors and minors, your gear score is going to be closer to the cap. So the new gear range for World Tier 5 is 256 is now that's the bottom line. That's what everyone was at. No one's going to go below that unless you start equipping World Tier 4 gear or something. And you can push up to 286. That's the new cap. So running around the world, you'll see players with different gear score, your loadout screen. You might have your Lone Star build totally min-max and awesome, and now you're working on your Alpha Birds build and kind of boosting that gear score up.
Yeah, it's important to note that, again, power levels are essentially the same. We're just granularizing that value so you have a better understanding of just how powerful you are. Right?
Yes.
So it's a huge tool. Even when gear drops in the world, being able to see how good is this striker chest piece? Oh, it's 256. Burp, burp. Nope. Oh, it's 270.
It adds a lot of excitement to every gear drop, right? We're so used to seeing a gear set. Green loot pillar, and it's just well, I already have all that stuff, right? I guess I'm going to sell it. Well, now it's I go up and I look at it, and if that thing drops with a 282 gear score, I'm slotting it in. It's going to be better than what I have. Maybe I reroll one stat, It makes every loot drop a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, it's super, super exciting. It's all kind of wrapped into one. This new visualization, the gear optimization. So, just imagine going to this new optimization station. I'm sure we'll talk about this in a minute, but there will actually be a place in Camp Clinton in the terminal next to the recalibration station. It's going to be an optimization station. You're going to take your gear there, and you're going to watch that number climb every time you go and optimize it. And so you get this physical, this tangible reward and visual identification that you are better, right, than you were before. I think
absolutely.
It's huge, huge.
And if nothing else, then saying optimization station is kind of the best thing in the division right now.
Yes.
So last week on State of the Game, when we were showing off VSP, we discussed D-Tech, Division Tech, very briefly. So how does, and we kind of hinted that it's going to be important in 1.8. So can you guys kind of tell us how Division Tech plays into gear optimization?
Yeah, so, people have been collecting Division Tech for a while now, and it's been accruing, and there's not been a great use for it.
Keith, how much D-Tech do you have?
Not enough. I need to get more. I've seen people posting on Twitter I got 3,000 D-Tech, and I'm like, whoa, I'm not even close to that. But good for them. But now D-Tech and the default e-credit currency, those are going to be used to at that optimization station. So I'm telling you right now, if you want to start doing some D-Tech runs, it will be useful, and we're going to add a lot more ways to get D-Tech in 1.8, a lot of places around Westside Piers.
Yeah, I think the Dark Zone, again, we'll play with all this stuff, but I think the Dark Zone will be the most lucrative place to get D-Tech, but as we talked about on the last State of the Game, it's going to be in Westside Piers, and as Keith mentioned, there'll be other ways to get it as well, but D-Tech e-currency, that's the juice that you need to optimize your gear.
Yep.
So how much powerful can your gear actually become? How does it feel when you have when you have accrued all day and you have you've gone to the optimization station. Can never get enough saying that. Many times you've optimized your gear. You have the build that you really wanted fully optimized at the optimization station. How powerful do you feel?
Well, go ahead, Keith. Go.
Well, I mean, so the best way to think about it is, in a way, a lot of our players have played with these builds because when they go into Last Stand, the way normalization works is it boosts everything up to its max, right? You're sitting at like 35% armor. All your primary stats are boosted. So in a way, we're giving you the ability to push to that kind of like perfectly min-maxed build that you've been playing in Last Stand and that you'll have in Skirmish, but use it everywhere in the game. So, you know, this is going to let you push further in PvE content than you could before. And the biggest thing that's changing is that, you know, before you could go in and recalibrate your stats and your majors and minors, but you couldn't touch your armor roll, right? Like if there was a very rare piece of gear and you finally get the drop and you inspect it for the first time and you see it has just a bottom barrel armor roll, that piece is basically trash to you, right? You have to throw it away. Now you can take it to the optimization station, invest in this piece, and improve the armor roll all the way up to its max. So in terms of really raw power, that chasing that 35% armor is kind of the best thing that you can push for. It makes you feel a lot more resilient.
Yeah, players have played with this power curve before, but you've never been able to see it or feel it in PvE because there was random elements. Now we're taking random out of the equation. You know, I mean, obviously there's still RNG with the drops, but now you can take an active role in making that the best piece of gear because that's the one you wanted. And now you can go get that flawless legendary run, you know? And yes, that means you can take that into the dark zone. That's not normalized, right? So I'm sure we'll have a conversation about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually going to hopefully kind of push people to want to go in the dark zone, right? Because before you come up with someone against someone with that perfect min-max build and you just haven't had as much luck, that is a tough fight for you, right? Now, if you've invested in your build and you're looking at it and you're like, every roll is as good as I can get it. My gear score is 286, or possibly a little bit higher if you have invested in some classifieds. You can have the confidence to go in and take on the unnormalized PvP.
It's going to be super awesome.
Yeah.
One thing, or one question that I think is quite important, though, is how do you keep the game balanced when you're introducing this?
Well, from a PvE standpoint, that's a good question, and this is going to touch on philosophies a little bit. There's content right now that a lot of the player base can't finish, they can't do. And so we were very comfortable with giving players more power without increasing the power of the AI at the same time. So I want players to be able to finally finish those legendary missions. I want you to do those incursions because you are creeping towards this ultimate god role with gear optimization. So I think the balance is going to be wonderful. Obviously, we've tested it a lot, and I know there's already people that can do that stuff with the gear they have. I would argue that maybe they've had really good luck with roles that allows them to do those things, along with player skill. So from a PvE standpoint, I'm not concerned, right? We're empowering these people. We're empowering even me, because there's stuff I can't do, damn it. But we're empowering them. Now, from a PvP standpoint,
yeah, I mean, from PvP standpoint, like I said, you know, we've actually have a ton of testing on this because it's what we've been testing with Last Stand for, you know, the last 6 months or so. So now those Last Stand balance that players have been feeling, there's a chance to experience that also in the dark zone now.
All right, awesome. There's actually, I have some paper here, and at the top of my paper, speaking of balance, I'm just going to jump in real quickly because people are asking about it in chat as well. Last week when Yannick was playing, we kind of got a little Easter egg there. What's happening with stamina, guys?
We have detectives, apparently, that are watching State of the Game, because like immediately there was like a breakdown on Reddit of what was happening. But yeah, we are adjusting stamina and toughness for, you know, endgame players. You know, previously it had always been 1 stamina is 30 toughness, 1.6 took that back to 1 to 15. You know, with all the new power and the new DPS that we're letting players have, we feel really comfortable bumping that back up. It's going to once again let players push further in PvE content. It's going to let you push to higher waves in resistance. And yeah, it makes the game just overall feel more consistent in the time to kills.
Yeah, and of course you're going to say, wait, doesn't that make it spongier, Keith? Not necessarily. You know, some of the classified gear, we're giving you reasons to push into the stamina build. We won't go into details about that, but you know, the increased DPS and things like that, it feels good.
Yeah, it feels great. And this is one we've been playing with for a while, so I can't wait to get it on the PTS.
Yeah.
So let's jump real quickly back into gear optimization, and with the new gear score, or with the gear score being up through optimization, how about new Dark Zone brackets? Is that something?
No, again, the power levels that players are going to be playing with are the same, right? So you'll go up against, right now, if you jump into the Dark Zone, there's potentially someone running with at the level of 286. You just don't know it, right? There's no way to visualize that. So in that sense, it's going to feel the same. Now, I'll be more powerful because I'll be able to optimize my gear. We're essentially telling everyone that you can be that guy who kills everyone in the Dark Zone, you know, or you can feel that. We don't need a new tier for these players because they're already all playing together. We're just giving you a way to better differentiate all of that.
Now you can just feel your character getting, you know, more powerful with time.
Yeah, we're taking luck out of it, essentially.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of the Dark Zone, in the Dark Zone, you can go rogue. We're not going to talk about that today, but can we give a little tiny spoiler of what people can expect during State of the Game next week?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, Rogue 2.0, that's what we're calling it. A whole bunch of changes. I get shaky thinking about it because I love the Dark Zone. But as a teaser, one of the big elements of Rogue 2.0 in the Dark Zone is that friendly fire will now be off in the Dark Zone. There will be no friendly fire in the Dark Zone, which means you have a button press. There is a toggle to go rogue. No more accidental rogue. No more chasing manhunts and then accidentally hitting your buddy and then having the whole
group turn to you because you're the weak prey at that moment.
We'll talk all about what that button press means, how you do it, and all the other changes. There's a lot of them. We'll talk about it next week.
That was like the smallest little piece of it.
Yes.
So, but yeah, footage next week.
Spread the word.
Blow it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys are super excited to talk about that. But we'll get back to it. Sorry, chat. I know some people are going, no, that we're not talking about it this week. I'm so sorry. But we should be back with, talking about Rogue 2.0 and Resistance next week. And
it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
And we'll have some gameplay for you as well at that point. So thank you very much, guys, for showing up again. It's been great having you. Thank you for all the information on both Skirmish and gear optimization.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thank you.
Always good to be here.
And I'm going to mute you again. But thank you again, guys.
Bye.
And I'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Love you, fam.
All right. A big thanks to Red Storm for coming on and talking about gear optimization, and of course Skirmish. I'm just going to quickly reiterate what we said at the beginning of State of the Game if you missed that. Maintenance this morning, fix some backend stuff. The RPM glitch is still not fixed. It needs a client patch, and we're working as hard as we can to get that out to you. The PC patch is probably going to come before the consoles because consoles is always a bit tricky to patch, but we're going to get that to you as soon as we possibly can. Remember also that using the RPM glitch is a bannable offense. We banned a lot of people this week, and we are not afraid to ban more. Also, do remember that that ban is a one strike against your account. Do anything like that in the future, you're gone. You're permanently banned. So remember that and keep that in mind. Don't get banned. Don't use RPM glitch. And we will have more information about, of course, update 1.8 PTS is coming. And then we'll also have some more news about the next global event as soon as we possibly can. That's everything from us here today. We're actually, we're at 28 minutes, so we're going to stop it there. Thank you guys so much for coming. And Yannick and Hamish will be back next week. Oh, those guys are actually waving again. They're muted though, so. But we'll see you guys next week. And thank you very much for coming.